Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for this special, important press conference where we recognize the extraordinary collaboration between our local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies and their critical partners in public safety and health. Before I continue with the program, we're joined by special guests this morning. First and foremost, our Mayor of the City of Laredo, the Honorable Dr. Victor Treviño, and his wife, Ms. Rosa Marquez de Treviño. U.S. Representative from Texas, District 28, the Honorable Congressman Henry Cuellar. Webb County District Attorney, the Honorable Isidro Alanis. Webb County Sheriff, the Honorable Martin Cuellar. Representing Justice of the Peace Precinct 4, the Honorable Jose Pepe Salinas, is Giselle Neira. Representing Constable Precinct 1, the Honorable Guadalupe Gomez, is Chief Deputy Cantu. Representing Constable Precinct 2, Miguel Mike Villarreal, is Captain Benavides. U.S. Customs and Border Protection Assistant Port Director, Adriana Arce. Representing DEA is Francisco Lozano. Border Patrol Acting Division Patrol, Chief Patrol is Thomas Diaz. Representing the Laredo Fire Department is Deputy Chief Roberto Gonzalez. Representing the Laredo Police Department, Chief Miguel Rodriguez, Jr. And we also have a lot of different organizations in our community that are also here, so we welcome everyone to this important press conference. In recent years, communities across the country have faced the devastating impacts of drug overdoses. But here in Laredo, our community has taken a stand together. Through coordinated efforts, data sharing, education, prevention, and targeted enforcement, our agencies have made significant progress in reducing overdose cases in our community. Today, we gather to highlight those efforts, to share how these partnerships have made a difference, and to honor the individuals and agencies who have been instrumental in saving lives. To begin our remarks, it is my honor to welcome a dedicated advocate for public health and safety, our Mayor, Dr. Victor Treviño.
Thank you, and good morning. Dr. Victor Treviño, Mayor for the City of Laredo. I'm happy to be here today to talk about the combined efforts and the positive results that we're seeing in our community after seeing record overdoses in 2022 and 2023. We all know that there has been significant multi-agency efforts to put this campaign against illegal drugs, specifically fentanyl, that has killed thousands of Americans in the United States. I mention this because as the largest port of entry in the United States, by logic, a lot of these drugs pass through here, and we're starting to see historic negative effects in our community. As a doctor, there's nothing more painful than seeing a child overdose on drugs, and even worse, losing their lives. But we're pushing back, and we continue to push back with prevention, enforcement, and mitigation. A couple of days ago, some news outlets reported that there were a significant reduction of overdoses in recent years, with a 52% decrease reported in 2024 compared to 2023. This is an important milestone. However, some of us know well this was not the case in the beginning of 2024. Because what was not mentioned was that in the first 8 days of 2024, I had to issue, as mayor, the first ever emergency advisory associated with the historic number of drug overdoses that we're seeing in our community. Laredo had never seen anything like this before. I, along with Police Chief Rodriguez, held an emergency press conference at City Hall, where we're reporting multiple drug overdoses that were on trend to exceed the already alarming numbers we saw in 2022 and 2023. And shortly after the press conference, the police department and other agencies conducted several raids in an effort to disrupt the distribution and network in our community. I thank you for that. But that also triggered what was in our community coming together and doubling our efforts and seeing that this message that drugs would not take over our community, which has historically been one of the safest cities in the United States and continues to be the safest city in Texas. I want to thank the health department, the fire department, the police department, the sheriff department, and all the partner state, federal agencies, and private agencies that helped us with these efforts. It was a team effort. I also want to thank the congressman for his efforts to fight and this distributing trend that we're seeing across the country. Funding is important because I can guarantee you this: if we let up a bit on education, prevention, border security, public safety, or school security, we would go back to seeing these terrible trends. So we recognize all the stakeholders today. I want the public not to forget that they also have a big part in educating their children and talking to them about the harmful effects of drugs, starting at an early age, even at the elementary school level. I always tell my patients who want to wait until their children are teenagers, well, the evidence and data has shown by then it's too late. Just like you teach your children not to stick things in an electrical socket, it's the same thing. Because if you don't teach them, their friends, the internet, and social media will. So I want to thank everyone today here and everyone involved in this perpetual campaign. And as mayor, I look forward for more collaboration in protecting our incredible and rich community of Laredo, Texas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. And before we continue with the program, I failed to recognize two other individuals that are very important to us, Congressman, if you allowed me. First and foremost is representing Texas State Representative House District 80, the Honorable Don McLaughlin, is Ms. Lupita Cepeda. And we also have Constable for Precinct 4, the Honorable Rolando Roles San Miguel. Now I'd like to invite a leader who has been at the front line of the fight against drug-related crimes here in our community and in Washington, D.C. is our Congressman Henry Cuellar.
Thank you so much, Mayor, and all of y'all. It's a pleasure being here with you. I want to ask you, please look around, because I think we got all the main players here that have been here for this success. You know, I was asked by one of the media, who deserves the key? And I said, all of them does, because I think whether it's law enforcement, healthcare, federal, state, local, all of them deserve this. And I'll just go down the list. I know we're going to go and do the individuals, but whether it's the Laredo Police or the constables, Precinct 1, 2, 3, 4, Laredo Fire Department, whether it's a Webb County Sheriff that we have here today, whether it's DEA, you know, Robert Kennedy and all the folks that do work and the part of the task force, Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, whether it's CBP, OFO, whether it's Border Patrol that we have here, Webb County District Attorney Chilo. Again, it's always a pleasure seeing you. And again, we mentioned all of the folks that are part of the task force. Whether it's the community folks that we have, Scan Gateway, Pilar, Roots Recovery, Border Regional Behavior, the Laredo Public Health, and so many other folks, especially, as you mentioned, Mayor, the public, the parents that have to be the first ones to tell the kids to keep away. But I knew it was a big deal here when I walked in and I see Elon Musk over here. You say, oh, it was Andy. Oh, I'm sorry. I saw that black jacket. I said, even Elon Musk is here. But seriously, I just want to say to all of y'all that are present here today, I just want to say it is a team effort. So, first of all, I just want to say to all the public servants, whether you're federal, state, local, law enforcement officer, health professionals, emergency responders, educators, community leaders, everyday citizen, thank you for what you do on this. You are the heartbeat of this community. You've shown that serving means you do it with courage, with compassion, and with conviction. For years now, the opioid epidemic and the fentanyl in particular have devastated communities across America. I've been on the appropriations over 11 years, and I remember Hal Rogers, a friend of mine, was talking about how fentanyl and opioid were hitting his area. He's from the Kentucky area. So, we were talking about different part. And, we supported him because we want to support all Americans that have been hit very, very hard. But when you think it's a national problem, but it doesn't hit you yet, and then when it starts hitting you here locally, it changes your perspective very much. This crisis came straight into our home door. It struck our neighborhoods, our schools, our families right here in Laredo and the surrounding area. As the mayor said, fentanyl in 2023 took 67 lives here in Webb County. And again, those are not just numbers. They're not just statistics. There are real people, a brother, a sister, a mother, a father that got hit and died because of this fentanyl. And as I said, they're not just numbers. They're sons, they're somebody's daughters, they're somebody's neighbor, they're somebody's best friend. Each of you have worked hard to make sure that we fight this, and you have been very successful. This community didn't stand still. You rose to the occasion. You stood together across agencies, backgrounds, whether it's federal, state, local, you all came together. And in just 1 year, you cut the overdose here in Webb County by 52%. Remarkable, it's real, and it's rare. And I remember the folks who are here that were up there in Washington, D.C., I believe this is the largest cut of any other place in the whole country. And again, to all the folks, I know we got DEA and other folks here, congratulations, all of y'all. The #1 cut in the whole United States happened here in Laredo and Webb County. This kind of progress just doesn't happen by accident. It happens because people care enough to do the hard things, to ask the tough questions and never to give up on each other. I want to take a moment to, thank all of y'all. And again, as I mentioned, it's not only law enforcement, but it's also the rest of the folks. But in particular, let me say something to law enforcement. The law enforcement, you go beyond the badge that you wear. You have stopped the flow of counterfeit pills, you shut down trafficking networks, and you work hand in hand with the public health teams and to make sure that we just don't talk about it, but you actually protect lives. And I just want to say to law enforcement, thank you so much for what you've done. To the healthcare providers, you have met people where they need the help. You open up clinic doors, you expanded treatment centers, you delivered care without judgment. You remind us that addiction is not a moral failing, it is a medical condition. People get weak and they take those drugs. And the treatment is not a luxury, it is a lifeline. So to the healthcare providers, thank you so much. To the educators, to the youth advocates, to the prevention leaders that we have here present here, thank you for reaching out to the next generation before fentanyl does. You've gone into the classrooms, after-school programs, family centers to talk honestly about these risks and about resilience to this community. That work matters more than we can ever be able to measure because, again, anytime you save somebody, it means a lot to that family. So to all the educators, youth advocates, prevention leaders, thank you so much. And again, to every nonprofit, neighborhood, volunteer, community partner who helped distribute Narcan, and we were able to put it in so many other places. You train neighbors to save lives. You train families not to sit idle while somebody is in crisis, but you remind us what community should be. So to all of y'all, thank you so much. This effort altogether has been backed by over $5 million of federal funding, federal support, funding treatment, prevention, recovery, Narcan recovery programs that we have here present all across Webb County. And again, more federal dollars that got sent to the state, working with our state legislators through the Texas Targeted Opiate Response has helped get life-saving efforts like Narcan to the areas that we need it because, again, every second, every minute counts, and that's what we've done. But the real engine behind this transformation is not in Austin. It's certainly not in Washington, D.C. It's right here in Laredo. It's the people who said, we lost too many, and we won't lose another. Let me share one quote that has always stayed with me when President Franklin D. Roosevelt said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Well, this community has proven through actions, not through words, that hope is stronger than fear, that action is stronger than fear. The work that you've done has been stronger than fear. So when people stand together with purpose, even in the darkest chapters that can be written, Laredo has stood up. You are not just responding to our crisis, you're heading and leading a movement. You're writing the next chapter in the story, as the mayor said, where communities come back from heartbreaks through healing, through humanity, and through hope and hard work. Law enforcement, and again, healthcare providers are working together. And as long as you keep going right here, we're here together. The mayor, I, the state, the federal, we're here with you because you are the ones that make the difference. And this is why we're here to say thank you. God bless all of y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. At this time, we are going to hear from some of the local law enforcement agencies that worked on this together. It is a collaborative effort. At this time, I would like to invite to the podium for remarks Webb County Sheriff Martin Cuellar.
Good morning, everyone. Henry, good morning. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for coming. This is very, very important for each and every one of us. We know people that have been affected, not personally, but people that we've gone to different incidents and people that have died. One that stuck to me very much so was one incident where there were a couple people, some people were just like they had frozen in time. You know, one was kneeling, was in the bed, one was like they had frozen in time. You know, that is a type of poison that's out there. And I do want to say that, you know, it's a horrible way, you know, people just die within minutes. And I do want to say, you know, that we need to continue to do the job that we do. I know DEA is here. I'm sorry that Robert couldn't be here, Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy, for some of y'all who don't know, he's the leader of DEA here in Webb County, in Laredo, and he does a tremendous, tremendous job in heading the law enforcement group that we have there at DEA. Of course, composed by Laredo Police, of course, DEA Task Force, Chilo Alanis and his group, and, everybody else that's here, of course, us too. And, we stick together because that's a common goal that we need to reach, is to reduce the over death issues that we have. It's a big issue. I do want to say that, I say we, as a group effort, Chief, that have reduced the ODs in Webb County and in Laredo, Texas, of course. And, we reduced it from, I think, 67 or something like that, Chief, from Laredo, and I think I have 7 in 2023, 2024, about 30, Chief. And we've had 3 in Webb County, in the county. One of the cities that's been hit harder is El Cenizo and Rio Bravo. And this year we have 0. I think y'all have how many, Chief? 5. Man, that really, really, shows the example of law enforcement when we work together. And let's give y'all good. Again, I want to thank Henry for everything that you've done for Webb County. We talked about you all the time, and we talk about all the grants that you've given us. And I think the chief and I were talking yesterday about that, about the overtime. It helps our budget, when we have Stone Garden, when we have, of course, the governor's help too, and that helps us a lot, so we can be able to put more boots on the ground. And again, I do want to say to all the healthcare and also the nonprofits that are here, pushing the One Pill Can Kill, we thank you that. We thank you for that, because people think about that already. People push that to their sons and daughters, that one pill can kill, and I think that's helped, overall. So again, thank you, Henry, and thank you Mayor, thank you very much for everything that you've done also, in providing public service for us and for the community. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Representing the men and women who serve and protect our city day in and day out is our Chief of Police, Miguel Rodriguez, Jr.
Good morning, buenos dias. Well, every time that we talk about fentanyl, I don't think most of us remember the dark days that we were living, 2022, 2023. This started in 2022 when we started seeing the numbers increase in overdose deaths. And so when we talk about 2023, 67 deaths, that's a lot of deaths for Laredo. And so we keep on going back to those days, and we remember every time that we sit in our command staff meeting, we always go back to say, okay, historically, what have we done to better our community? What have we done to bridge the gap with our partners, right? And so one of the things that we talk about now in this year is the fact that we're almost at 90% reduction. We talk about 50-something, we're almost at 90% reduction. This year we have 5 overdose deaths. Compared to last year, we were already at 20 plus. So this is a significant reduction in overdose deaths. And that's not only for Laredo Police and our DEA overdose task force, but it also goes to our firemen, right? That they respond to these calls, and immediately they start performing the Narcan. Immediately they start resuscitating people and taking care of the people of our community to make sure that they get to the hospital on time to be able to survive. So it also goes out to them. It also goes out to our community. So our community is a very strong will. Without them, we wouldn't be here, celebrating this reduction, because the community itself, they bought into this, that it was a problem, that it was a poison, that it was something that it was priority for our city to make sure that we continue to have this reduction. But more than anything, also our schools, right? At the beginning, I remember when we went with this idea that we have to tell our children, about these pills, and everybody was like, whoa, Chief, we're introducing, a drug to our students, how are we gonna be introducing this? So we sat down with them. I know multiple agencies, our fire department also sat down with them, and they were able to explain, the severity of the problem. And they went in and they said, you know what, we're going to do it. So I remember one time my 13-year-old came up, said, what is this one pill can kill, right? What is this that they're showing us that they look like Skittles, right? But they were fentanyl. So by the time that a 13-year-old was already talking to me and telling me about fentanyl, we knew that we were getting somewhere. So there's a lot of work, and when we look back as to everything that we've done together as a city and as a state government and as a federal government, it is just tremendous work and phenomenal work that we've done. We talked about when we first started talking with our partners, we talk about CBP, right? And I see our CBP partners here. What are we going to do? And the first thing that I remember back then, the OFO office, and now Don is there, and he says, what can we do to help? DEA, let's put together an overdose task force team. Sheriff's office, everybody that came together said, what can we do to help? And so here we are, right, with 5 overdose deaths. And out of the 5 overdose, only 3 are fentanyl. The other 2 were pills. So that's tremendous success. And I cannot say enough. Thank you for the help, Congressman. Thank you, Mayor, because you were at the forefront of this. Every time that I went to you, you said, what else do we need to do, Chief? What else do we need to do, Chief? And I do want to see, I especially do want to thank our city managers, because when I went to them, they did say, whatever you need, Chief, let us know, we'll get it done. The other part that I do want to kind of give a shout out to is our prosecutors, our AUSA, but our district attorney. Our district attorney, and I know he's sitting here today, he'll talk a little bit more about it, but our district attorney, the cases that were not taken at the federal level, he immediately said, we'll take them. Any case that is not taken at the federal level, we're going to take them state level, and we're going to prosecute them. And so for a district attorney that has multiple things going on, whether it's auto theft, criminal mischief, domestic violence, you name it, sexual assaults, to take an overdose case is just a big thank you to you, Chilo, for doing that for us. But more than anything, I do want to thank everybody that's here today and helping us celebrate. We're still not done. This is just declaring momentum as to what we're doing, but we're still not done until we get to 0, right, Mayor? Right, Congressman? So thank you very much for being here today, and thank you for always supporting our law enforcement community.
Thank you, Chief. Our final speaker is a leader from one of our first response teams that often sees, the tragic reality of overdose firsthand. Please help me welcome Laredo Fire Department Deputy Chief Roberto Gonzalez.
Thank you, Norita. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. In 2022, the Laredo Fire Department took a critical step in addressing the rising number of overdoses in our community. That year, we launched the Opioid Response Team, not just as first responders, but also as advocates for long-term solutions. From the start, we knew that we couldn't do this alone. That's why we partnered with the Laredo Health Department and nonprofit organizations like SCAN and Pillar, among few. Together, we built a network focused on more than just saving lives in the moment. We're helping people find a path forward. We follow up after the overdoses. We connect people to treatment. We give out Narcan into the hands of the families, and we talk with schools, shelters, and community groups to break the stigma around addiction. There's a quote that guides the opioid response team: addiction is not a choice, but recovery is. And recovery becomes possible when people feel seen, supported, and safe. Every overdose we prevent is more than a statistic. I'm sorry about that. It's a life. A chance for someone to come back to their family, a chance to write a new chapter. We still have a lot of work to do, but thanks to collaboration, compassion, and the strength of this community, we are moving in the right direction. Thank you all.
As our police chief mentioned, we do want to give the opportunity to our Webb County and Zapata District Attorney, Isidro Chilo Alanis, to say a few words as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Congressman, Mayor, and everyone for being here on this very important subject. Congressman, you know this, that crime, you cannot curtail crime unless there's accountability, and all law enforcement knows that. And That accountability comes in the courtroom with all the work that all these agencies do in bringing the cases to our office. I remember in 2023, the numbers were staggering of the overdose deaths in Laredo. Just for perspective, from January to May in 2023, we had 38 overdoses from January to May. Now you fast forward to today, and we had from January to May 4 overdoses. That's a tremendous accomplishment. How do we do that, right? Well, you're right. It's all the men and women, all the agencies that are here, all the law enforcement, all the people behind the scenes that don't ask for the credit. You know, elected officials like us get to come up here and brag about the work that's being done, but it's being done by all the agents that are here, the first responders and paramedics that get there. And I can tell you the scenes that they arrive to are horrible. As a prosecutor, they bring me the evidence. I get to see the body cam of the deceased at the crime scene. One of them that sticks out in my mind was them responding to a call of an unresponsive young girl in her 20s who had become unresponsive when these drug dealers had given her drugs with fentanyl that when she wouldn't wake up, they put her in a chair, they put her out in a driveway, they pushed her to the back of a carport and left her there slumped over. And it was a 911 call that came in, and the video footage of the officers arriving and seeing this young girl there, you don't forget those images. It's lives that are being lost, not numbers. And it's because of that we at the DA's office work closely with all our partners in targeting those people who bring these dangerous drugs into our community. I remember when the chief was in charge of the auto task force years ago. You all remember when Laredo was #1 in car thefts? Now I don't know what number we are, but we're one of the safest communities as far as car thefts, right? But it was that effort and that blueprint that you had in bringing all the law enforcement agencies with the sheriff and the U.S., the federal agencies, local, state, in targeting these cells of these groups that were stealing cars to take over to the cartel in Mexico. That same philosophy of putting ego aside is what makes it possible, and not worrying about who gets the credit. You know, traditionally with law enforcement, sometimes there's turf battles, and that's why I'm really proud to be the DA in Webb County that we don't see that. We see agencies working towards a mission, towards a common goal, and hey, let's tackle this problem, regardless if it's better to go federal, if it's better to go state, if it's HSI, if it's DEA, if FBI, whoever it is, but let's get the job done and bringing everybody to the table. So, I'll share another story with you. The sheriff and I went up to DC a few years ago, and we went to the headquarters of DEA. And when we walked in, much like this, into the lobby, the walls were full of 8x10 photos, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures of fentanyl victims. And it just really just makes a huge impact, and you're confronted with the reality of how many thousands of people in that campaign that DEA had in sending photos of their loved ones. And fentanyl doesn't discriminate as to socioeconomic levels, high school students, college students, young adults, older people, with just one hit, and they go into that state where their breathing goes down, and then they expire. So, you know, our job's not done. We'll continue working. We'll continue targeting those folks that bring these dangerous drugs into our community. And I can guarantee you one thing: the word is out on the street. right? Because the drug dealers realize, fill the blank, right? They're onto us, and they find out that with technology, doing phone dumps, forensic investigations, backtracking from the where the person's found dead and working it backwards until we find out who is responsible for selling these drugs on the street, arresting them, bringing them to court, putting them in prison, and bringing the stats down. So we'll continue to do that work. Thank you for everybody who's here, and we'll continue to keep Laredo safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At this time, we want to transition, Congressman and Mayor, to the award portion of this program. Our Mayor, Dr. Victor Trevino, and our Congressman Henry Cuellar will now present awards to the law enforcement agencies and community agencies whose efforts and collaboration have played a vital role in reducing overdose cases in our community. These recognitions honor teamwork, commitment, and also lives saved. I'm just going to move this way, and that we can do the pictures here. As we mentioned, the law enforcement agencies or the different community partners, just please come up here to receive your recognition. From the law enforcement agencies, the Laredo Police Department.
Okay, right here in the middle. 1, 2, and 1 right here. 1, 2, 3.
Webb County Constables, Precinct 1, Guadalupe Gomez.
Okay, ready? Right here in the middle. 1, 2, and 1 right here. 1, 2, 3. And then right here to the right.
Representing Webb County Constable Precinct 2, Mike Villarreal.
Okay, right here in the middle. 1, 2, and 1 right here. 1, 2, 3.
And also Webb County Constable Precinct 4, Rolando San Miguel. Now honoring the Laredo Fire Department, Fire Deputy Chief Roberto Gonzalez.
Over there. Okay, here in the middle. Right, over there. 1, 2, 3.
Next, the Webb County Sheriff's Office.
Alright, right here in the middle. 1, 2, and 1 right here. 1, 2, 3.
Next is the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Right here in the middle. 1, 2, and
Next on the list, U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
All right, take your middle, 1, 2, and. Here, 1, 2, 3.
Recognizing the United States Border Patrol.
All right, we're starting on the left now.
1, 2, 3.
One more here. 1, 2, 3. Now over there, right there.
Also recognizing the Webb County District Attorney's Office.
Over here. 1, 2, 3. Now over there. 1, 2, 3. Over here, please. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Next is the DEA Overdose Task Force. It's comprised by the Drug Enforcement Administration, the Laredo Police Department, Homeland Security Investigations, United States Border Patrol, Webb County Sheriff's Office, and the Webb County District Attorney's Office. Wait, because there's several people.
Oh,
And as we're getting ready, I was talking to Robert Kennedy, the head of DEA. Want to thank them. They went up to Washington, this task force up there, and they got recognized as the best in the country. Congratulations.
you're all concerned, that's right.
3, 2, 1.
Now, 1, 2, 3. Go right to the middle. 3, 2, 1. I'll be here for 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Right over here, ready, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, one more up here.
That was all of our law enforcement agencies. We do have a few community partners to recognize. SCAN, Francisco Adame.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Next, our community partners at Gateway, Mr. Elmo Lopez.
This is the no tie folks that we. Oh, hey, we're in band together. Band members do get ahead in life, man.
Ready, 1, 2, 3. Right here. 1, 2. Thank you.
Our community partners from Pillar, Mr. Arturo Diaz.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Now in the middle. 1, 2.
The community partners from Roots Recovery Center. Our next community partner, Border Region Behavioral Health, Ms. Maria Sanchez.
First year, 1, 2, 3.
Hold on. Lupita, you're part of it.
The whole team does everything.
Okay, ready, 1, 2, 3. Okay, right there. 1, 2.
Do we get a behalf of Richard? I know Lupita's on board, but otherwise I would tell Richard to not take one.
Okay, one more here, 1, 2, 3. In the middle. 1, 2.
One more, right over here.
And last but not least, our last community partner is the Laredo Public Health Department.
Okay, ready, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Right here. 1, 2. And your one over here too?
On this side. Thank you all for being here today. This concludes our ceremony.